welcome to the preview of the Mountain West Conference. We're going to go ahead and try and break down some of these new teams here and talk about some of the players that we have to look forward to. What do you got so far on your rankings?
Thanks, Falco. Ranking-wise in the Mountain West, this is a conference that I play in, so I wish I knew a little bit more about them, but I'm going to start off with GBA. They do play in the other league is the Irish. I think that they have a very experienced QB and just enough talent to take the conference championship. We also have the Razorbacks. I'm assuming that they have a good QB, seeing that he's a commissioner and he likes to talk a lot ahead, but you never know. And I think they have a decent O-line as well. We have the Hitmen, which actually won the Pac-10 championship last season, is the K-Holics. So I think that they're going to be a challenge for most of the teams. We got Battleborn after that. They're starting anew from the other league, so we're not really sure what kind of talent they have, considering that most of their players actually played in this league last season. Jet Life, which is a brand new team, not too much known about them. The Shockers, the Seminoles, and then we're going to go with Wreckage. I kind of put them at the bottom of the conference mainly because I'm their QB, so I must be pretty bad if you read the forum lately. What do you think, Falco?
Well, Don, it's hard to argue there about that QB position. My ranking's going to differ just a little bit, even despite that information. I'm going to start at the top actually with Wreckage. I think despite the fact that you'll get pulled by week 4, I think the fact that they're a very experienced squad and bringing a lot of talent, they got one of the best D linemen in this conference with Big Worm, and I think they're going to be ready to make some noise. Next I'm going to go with the Razorbacks. They spend about 80 hours a week in practice, so you know they're one of the most organized teams, and when you have Ron Jeremy on the offensive line, how can you go wrong? Next will be the Hitmen. They used to be the Caholics, and they lost some of their talent who was on the Zebras, but they've been around for a long time with a bunch of guys that have played together, so I think they might surprise people. They're going to keep the score low, they're going to keep a very slow pace of the game, and that might frustrate a lot of teams into forcing some mistakes. Next I'm going to go with GBA. You are correct in the fact that they do play as the Irish in the other league, but only a few of those players do play over there. A lot of the GBA team is a very inexperienced bunch, just getting into flag football for the last couple of seasons, and I don't think overall they're going to be as dominant as you might think. Next is going to be Jet Life. We have no idea who these guys are, but seeing some of these guys, they may potentially be very good athletes. We're going to go ahead and put them at the top just because they have some tall guys. Follow that by the Seminoles. JC's new team is looking to put themselves together. We don't really know what they're going to feature yet, but we do know he had a pretty good season in the Pac-10 as a receiver, so we'll see what they have to bring to the table. Next is Battleborn, coming over from the different league. They did feature Ron Jeremy on their offensive line as well, but since he's playing with the Razorbacks, we're not exactly sure what Battleborn's going to bring, but hopefully they're going to battle all the way. Finally, we're going to end with the Shockers, another unknown team. I believe they have played in another league before as well. We just don't know what they're going to see, so maybe we'll see if they shock us. As far as some of the players you want to talk about, or maybe some defensive or offensive squads, what do you think?
I think starting off in the Mountain West, when you talk about the best player overall, we're probably talking about GBA's quarterback, Jason. I think that he's going to be the standout at QB in the conference. It's whether or not the rest of his team can play at his level for them to have a chance of winning the championship. I also kind of heard some stories about the Shockers' new running back. They got swooped up from the Razorbacks, Joe, running back. What do you think?
Well, he definitely was an explosive player for the Razorbacks last season, and he's capable of going house anytime he touches the ball against teams in this conference. I will agree with Jason. He is a magician at QB. See what kind of magic he can pull with this GBA squad. Other individual players we can talk about again is the Big Worm from Wreckage, always causing havoc on the D-line. And I know firsthand that he is a very intense individual. And offensively speaking, other individuals we can talk about are probably one of the best blocking guys in all the conference, and Ron Jeremy. I believe he's really going to create some time for that QB to throw the ball.
Yeah, definitely. I think that most D linemen, it takes him at least 4 seconds to run around that guy. So him just standing still, he's going to create time for his QB, never less than putting his hands on the guys.
Other than that, there's a lot of unknowns in this. Obviously, we can also talk about JC from the Seminoles. He had a very good season in the Pac-10 playing with the former Penguins, and if he has a guy that can get him the ball, he probably can make some noise in this conference as well. Thank you for tuning in. Wraps it up for the Big Ten this time, and we'll see you out there in the future for highlights and player profiles.
For the Mountain West, that is. Thank you. Have a good night.